Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you again for joining us at our Healthy Cities Friday Forum. My name is Kelly Andrews. I'm the CEO of Healthy Cities. And just to begin with, I would obviously like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands that we're all gathering from today. We acknowledge the custodianship of country of the Dharawal people and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and any Aboriginal people in the audience with us today. So I'll just as a bit of housekeeping, I'll just keep everyone muted and off camera, partly just to keep the focus on the speaker, but also partly because we're recording it and we'll put it on our socials and our website at the end. So, you probably, I'll just get, there we go. Yeah, and so next week is Road Rules Awareness Week. So I'm very happy to have Jen Davies join us from Shellharbour City Council. She's the Road Safety Officer who lives and breathes this sort of thing. So thanks, Jenny. I'm going to take myself off camera and hand over to you. And if anyone wants to just ask any questions along the way, just pop it in the chat. We'll come back when Jen's finished her presentation and answer any questions or have a discussion then. Okay. Over to you, Jen.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Just sit back and I'm going to hopefully dispel a few of the myths about the top 10 misunderstood road rules that are out there now. If you would like to ask any questions throughout this presentation, please pop it in the chat. And Kel will be looking at those and interrupting me or interjecting with me so that we can address those as soon as we possibly can. The other thing that I'd like to discuss with you, and I'll bring up the next slide. Just looking at whether we need a little refresher on those tricky rules that you may have forgotten over time. So there is a quiz, and you can see that Kelly has popped that into the chat. This quiz is designed to test your road rules knowledge and your attitude and behaviours towards safe driving. What I'd like you to do here is to click on the link. There is 10 questions in total, and it should take no longer than say 2 minutes to complete. If you participate in this quiz, which I'd like you to do right now before we move any further, as I said, it should only take about 2 minutes to complete, and all participants will go in the draw to win a $50 voucher. And if there's only 2 people in the audience, you've got a 50% chance of getting it. So please jump onto that link right now, and I'll give you 2 minutes to complete it while we get ready for the next slide. All right, time's ticking. I hope you're not finding those questions too tricky. These questions are questions that you will probably face almost every day. And some of them are different to some of the issues and rules that we will be facing today too. Okay, I'll give you another 20 seconds and I will continue with the presentation. Okay, moving forward from here. Rule number 1, roundabouts. When you're entering a roundabout, you must give way to any vehicle already on the roundabout. You must use your indicator if intending to turn left, turning right, or making a U-turn. Roundabouts again. When approaching a roundabout, you must use an indicator if you are intending to turn left or right or make a U-turn at a roundabout. You must give way to other road users. And you must give other road users sufficient notice of your intent to turn. Roundabouts again. This time, when you're turning left, you must indicate left on the approach and be travelling in the left lane unless there are other road markings with instructions to direct you otherwise. Stay in the left lane and exit in the left lane as well. Okay, so giving way to pedestrians. If you, as a driver, are turning left or right at an intersection, you must give way to any pedestrian crossing the road that the driver is entering. This applies to intersections with or without traffic lights. However, it doesn't apply at roundabouts. That said, for their own safety, pedestrians should always check their surroundings before they cross the road. Number 3, mobile phones, and it's very controversial, mobile phones. In relation to mobile phone calls and the audio function, you may only use a mobile phone while you are driving or riding to make or answer an audio call or use any other function if it is securely in a commercially manufactured and designed mounting. This needs to be fixed to the vehicle and does not obscure the driver's view of the road, or if it can be operated by the driver or rider without touching any part of the phone, for example, through Bluetooth technology or voice activation. So in relation to all other functions of a mobile phone, while you're driving or riding, it cannot be used for anything else, and that includes texting or audio texting, emailing, using social media, taking photos, video messaging, holding your phone in any way, in your hand, in your lap, between your shoulders or ear, between your shoulders and ear, I should say. Drivers are only permitted to hold a phone to pass it to their passenger. That is it. Drivers or riders can only use their phone for any other function if the vehicle is parked out of the line of traffic. These functions are not permitted when your vehicle is stopped, including waiting at traffic lights or stuck in traffic, which I'm sure a lot of people grab for their phone at that first opportunity. Driver's aids such as navigational GPS functions or speed advisory apps. Drivers or riders may only use a GPS function of their phone while driving or riding if the phone is secured in a fixed mounting and doesn't obscure the driver's view of the road. And this one applies to mobile phones, so it's still number 3, but specifically for L&P plate drivers because their skills and they haven't had the experience to be able to divide their tasks over many things, and this is why this rule now applies. So learners, P1 and P2 drivers and motorcycle riders are not permitted to use any function of a phone while driving or riding. This includes when waiting at traffic lights or stuck in traffic. So not at all, not ever. Okay, rule number 4, merging. If you have a look at the 2 diagrams down the bottom. So when a driver is travelling on a road without line markings and the number of lanes or lines of traffic is reduced, they must merge by giving way to a vehicle that is ahead of them. This is often called a zipper merge. So it's the vehicle that is most forward in the travelling lanes has the right of way, just to put it simply. So changing lanes when a marked lane ends, if you look at the difference between the 2 diagrams, one lane or both lanes are marked all the way to the end. So pretty much the rule is telling you that if you need to cross a line, you need to give way. So in that instance, vehicle number A must give way to vehicle number B. When a driver is travelling in a marked lane, which is ending and is required to cross a broken painted line or to enter the adjacent lane, the driver must give way to the traffic travelling in the lane being entered into. Driver A must give car number red A must give way. All right, so number 5, keeping left. On multi-lane roads with a speed limit of more than 80 kilometres, motorists must not drive in the right-hand lane unless they are, number 1, overtaking or turning right or making a U-turn, avoiding an obstacle, driving in congested traffic, driving in a special purpose lane, or if there's a left lane, or if there's a left lane must turn left sign, or a left traffic arrow and the driver is not turning left. And down the bottom it says if a keep left unless overtaking sign is displayed, the requirement applies regardless of the speed limit.
Jen?
Yeah?
I might, because we're halfway through, I might just ask a few questions up to this point.
Come up? Yeah, sure.
Can you, because this is misunderstood road rules, if you just go back a slide for the keep left.
Yep.
What do you think it is that's so misunderstood about that?
Okay, so I think the most misunderstood road rule. So the rule is, so if you're traveling on, say, the M1, we'd all be familiar with the M1. And you can travel in both lanes if the speed limit is 80 kilometres an hour or below. Above 80 kilometres, you must stick to the left lane and only use the right lane to overtake. Now, here's the catch. You can only overtake if you don't exceed the speed limit. So the speed limit is 100. So in other words, if the vehicle in front of you is travelling under 100 kilometres, you then can legally take over that vehicle. The other scenario is if you're in a more built up area and you're approaching a set of traffic lights and there's arrows on the road that ask you to turn left, you must turn left if you're in that lane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
And here's another scenario. So if the M1 is congested and the traffic is travelling at no more than 80 kilometres, you may use both lanes. So you think about those times when you're heading towards Wollongong and it's in the morning and it's very congested and the traffic is almost at a standstill. It's okay to be in both lanes in that instance, but if the traffic is flowing at the speed limit of 100 kilometres, you must stay in your left lane unless you're going to overtake.
Mm-hmm. And I had another quick one about giving way to pedestrians. So
Yes.
you said that that's applicable at an intersection,
Mm-hmm.
but does that also apply to, say, a T-junction?
Yes, it definitely does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So any time a pedestrian's crossing a road, you must give way unless it's a roundabout. Where I mean, obviously
right.
you've got to be looking out, but okay.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And it's not that you wouldn't want to cause harm to a pedestrian. Roundabouts are probably not the safest place for a pedestrian to cross, although in a lot of roundabouts these days, they are putting splitter islands in roundabouts, providing facility for pedestrians to cross. So please use those facilities if you are a pedestrian, and wait in the refuge in the middle of the road so that you can just manage the flow of traffic in one direction at a time.
Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't really matter then if it's a pedestrian crossing or not?
No, it doesn't matter if it's a pedestrian crossing or not.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think people understand that, actually. That's
interesting. Yes. Yes. So if someone stepped off the curb, then you should stop and let them continue.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
That's all right. Back to it. All right. So we're going to move on to using headlights and fog lights. So let's talk about high beam. A driver must not use their headlights on high beam if travelling less than 200 metres behind a vehicle travelling in the same direction as you, or less than 200 metres from oncoming vehicles. At the moment, I'm driving an e-vehicle, and it's a very smart car, and it recognises when I'm driving on an open road, and it will turn on the high beam. But when a vehicle approaches me, it will turn it off by itself. If you don't have that feature in your car, you will need to do that manually. So you'll need to judge that 200 metres from oncoming traffic. The next one is you must not dazzle. What does that mean? It means shining the light or a high beam into the eyes of oncoming road users. So you must not use any light fitted to your vehicle that may dazzle another road user. I think that's pretty common sense. Fog lights are only permitted to use in fog, in mist, or atmospheric conditions that restrict visibility. And typically in our area, on top of Mount Ousley, is a place sometimes when it's foggy and rainy that we need to use our fog lights. And sometimes we even need to use our hazard lights to increase our visibility. That's not a rule, but it's also it's a very good safety tip. Spotlights. There's not a lot of vehicles that have spotlights, but they're mostly used in the country where people are doing like farm work, particularly at night, but some people do have them on their vehicles. Some workmen on the road might have them on their vehicle, like NRMA, when they approach a broken down car, they'll have a spotlight, and that'll be used for repairs of a vehicle. The light mustn't be projected more than 6 metres. And you can also use it for reading house numbers or notice boards. And you'll notice that ambulance drivers will have a light, and other emergency services as well. So lights at night or insufficient daylight, you should be able to see a person dressed in dark clothing at a distance of about 100 metres, and a driver's vehicle must have clearly visible headlights. They must have a tail light. They must have number plate lights and clearance lights and side marker lights if they are fitted to the vehicle. In some daytime situations, headlights on can improve the likelihood of being seen by most road users. And I'll put my hand up and say that I use my headlights on all of the time in every situation. I also drive a white car because it's considered to be the safest coloured car. All right. And they're not rules, they are safety tips. All right, we're up to number 7 of 10. And this one is about U-turns. So when making a U-turn, a driver must have a clear view of any approaching traffic, and you must be able to make the turn without unreasonably obstructing the free movement of traffic. So you shouldn't be crossing in front of anyone else to make that manoeuvre. And you have to give way to all vehicles and, again, pedestrians when doing a U-turn. Drivers are not permitted to make a U-turn at traffic lights unless there's a U-turn permitted sign displayed. Not very often you will see a U-turn permitted sign displayed at traffic lights. They do occur, they are there, but not often. Drivers are not allowed to make a U-turn in these situations, and that's at intersections without traffic lights where a no U-turn sign is displayed. At this situation, it would be considered to be an unsafe manoeuvre, and that's why that sign would be there. Also at a break in a driving strip where a no U-turn sign is displayed. Sometimes there's breaks in driving strips to access other properties on the other side. So that's okay to turn right into a property, but not to do a U-turn. Drivers must not allowed to make a U-turn across any of these following as well, and that's a single continuous dividing lane. So that's an unbroken line, a single continuous dividing lane to the left of a broken line. So that's when you get the two, if you look at the middle diagram and you'll see the cross, that's the one that we're talking about. And two parallel continuous dividing lines. The diagram on your right, that one is it's referred to in that diagram. Okay, number 8. Following distances. All right, so drivers must keep sufficient distance behind a vehicle travelling in front of them to safely avoid a collision. Safe following distances may vary on different conditions, the type of vehicle and the speed at which the vehicle is travelling. So as a general rule, when following a vehicle, the driver should travel 3 seconds behind the vehicle in front to provide sufficient time to avoid a crash. Now, the way that you measure that, and if I can refer to the diagram in front of you there, the car that is near the tree, right? So we look for a stationary object, and that stationary object is the tree. When the car in front gets to the tree and I'm traveling in the vehicle behind, I need to count 1001, 1002, 1003 before I get to that stationary item myself, which is that tree. Okay, so to blue car in front, when it gets to the tree, I count 1001, 1002, 1003 before I get to the tree. If I get to the tree before I count 1003, I am going too fast. I hope that's fairly clear. Okay, number 9, school zones. So school zone speed limits applies on New South Wales gazetted school days during the times detailed on the school zone sign. So the gazetted days are the days that have been set aside by the Department of Education, and they also include, the gazetted days also include the holiday breaks as well as the entire school term. The lights do not flash during the school term. They will flash on the first day of school, even though the students are not there. Sometimes some schools start their school year at different times, and we just need a blanket coverage so that all schools are covered at every time. And this is why we have a blanket rule at around about these times. So when the lights are flashing is probably the best rule, and that is in between 8 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and 2:30 and 4 p.m. 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 to 4 p.m. on school days. And again, those days are gazetted, and it aligns with the school term. All right, number 10, yellow traffic lights. Do we go through them? Do we drive faster? What do they mean? Let's have a look at this. So a yellow amber traffic light or arrow actually means stop. It means you should stop behind the stop line if you can stop safely before reaching it. Obviously, if you are too close to the line and you cannot stop safely, then it's okay to continue safely through the traffic lights. The safety cameras that you see are activated when the amber light is shown, and it is at that point checking your speed, and if you are speeding at that point, you will be picked up and fined. So penalties apply for drivers that don't fail to stop at a yellow light unless it's unsafe to do so, and that situation would be when you are too close to the traffic lights to stop safely. And okay, so we might bring up those questions, can we, Kel?
Oh, yes. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, that'd be great if you can.
Okay. Can you see that now?
Yes, I can.
And everyone else should as well. So, okay.
Right, so just quickly go through them. Okay, so this quiz is designed to test your road rules, knowledge, and your attitude and behaviour towards safe driving. All participants will go in the draw to win a $50 voucher. Always be responsible, respectful, and a safe driver. So if you're travelling, number one, if you're travelling in a lane that has a left turn arrow marked on the road, can you drive straight through? Yes, if no traffic is approaching, or no. No is the answer. Okay, great. Is that screen up there, Kel? Or
yeah.
No? Okay. Oh, you want me to click on it?
I've clicked on it.
Oh, okay, cool. I just can't see it. That's all right. Okay. All right. So question number 2, who will be fined if a passenger under the age of 16 is not wearing a seatbelt or a suitable child restraint? It is the driver. The driver will be fined. What is the meaning of this sign? The meaning, it's the third one. Parking is reserved for a person holding a current disability parking permit. Number 4, which of the following statement is correct? It's the third one. Travelling at a speed limit is sometimes too fast for the conditions.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, Jen.
Yep.
Sorry, I think I've only just checked the chat, and apparently, could someone maybe just unmute yourself and confirm for me you can't see the quiz?
Oh, I can't see.
Yeah, we can just see your Outlook, Kelly.
Outlook?
Just see your Outlook, yeah, with the link from Jenny to you with the quiz.
Oh, okay. Well, that is not useful, is it?
Do I have to unshare?
No, it's just me not sharing the right screen. Hold on one second.
Okay, you're all right. Thanks for
Here we go.
shouting out that. Good.
Sorry, everybody. Now, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I need to go? Okay, so
We'll go really, really quickly.
Okay, so number 1 is no. Number 2 is the driver. Number 3 is parking is reserved for a person holding a current disability permit. Number 4, which following statement is correct? Travelling at a speed limit is sometimes too fast for the conditions. What is the mean? And number 5, what is the meaning of this sign on the back of a bus? The third one, you must give way to the bus if it is preparing to move out from the bus stop. Number 6, are you allowed to use a mobile phone while driving? No, you are not. We've already dispelled that myth. Which of the following, and number 7, which of the following statements is correct? It's the third one. Alcohol makes you react more slowly to hazards. And in which order should the vehicles proceed? So if you got the second one, Z, Y, then X, then you know how to use a roundabout safely and correctly. Number 9, when approaching traffic lights, what does a green light with a red arrow mean? It means you may go in any direction other than that indicated by the arrow. Got that one? And number 10, by thinking you are, how do small amounts of alcohol affect your driving? By thinking you are better than you actually are, is the last one. And number 11, if you wanted to be in the draw to win that fuel voucher, you need to put it down your first name and your mobile phone number so I can contact you. Kelly, I might send to you once that person has been selected. I will send you the details. I'm not sure whether that person wants to be known. Anyway.
So for those that complete the form that is in the chat, when you complete the form and it gets submitted, the data goes straight to Jen. So that's how that fancy thing works. Does anyone have any questions at all? You're off the hook, Jen.
I'm off the hook.
Oh, I've got one, sorry.
Good.
I'm not going to put my camera on, so I'm just home with COVID, so I'm not looking the best. I had sent one through when I registered about roundabouts.
Yes.
We have a roundabout near our house, and people like my understanding is if I get to the roundabout first, then I have right of way. but cars will approach from my right and just fly straight through it as if they've got right of way. So I'm not going to argue with them and have an accident just to prove I'm in the right. But I'm just curious, because coming from the UK, it was always give way to the right. And I don't know whether in Australia, was it at one stage that, and people still think it's that, or?
Yeah, it is that. That's correct. You have to give way to your right. And, you know, there is, you know, the said rule that if you're the first at the roundabout, you should go first. But if you look at this scenario, if 4 cars approaching from different directions arrive at the roundabout all at the same time, who gets to go first? You can actually all leave at the same time.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Yeah, because I understood like just that. If I'm already there and almost in the roundabout that I should, but people don't seem to agree with that. I
totally agree. Yeah. And it's just it's almost aggressive driving. Yes. So yes, stay back to avoid the crash, please. Yeah, so those drivers are not very considerate. But good point to raise, Tina.
Thank you.
You're doing well.
I've got one which was an old wives' tale, actually just my mum's tale. She always told us when we were little that if you, because you know kids, they muck around with the internal light, that was illegal. And if she drove at night time with that on, then the cops would pull her over. And I have subsequently kept telling that to my kids. Is that true?
No, it's not true. And usually the light points down towards maybe the passenger, so they can be reading directions or something. Yeah. So it's not illegal. It's just not safe, and it's difficult to see outside when the light is on on the inside of the car. So it's more a safety concern than anything.
Well, if there's no other questions, maybe Tina could. Do you want me to put Jenny? I'll put Jenny's email in the chat perhaps, and if anyone has any anything that they want to follow up with later stage, then they can do that. I'll just do that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jenny, for sharing your time and your expertise, and thanks everyone for giving up your lunch hour. And I hope you enjoyed the sunshine this weekend, or today at least. Thanks everyone.
For the opportunity. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.